Welcome to HFY Galactic Audiobooks, where humanity stands tall in the vastness of the cosmos. Here, we dive into thrilling sci-fi tales where humans prove time and again that no matter how dangerous the galaxy gets, there's one thing aliens never saw coming us. Whether it's conquering alien civilizations, surviving against monstrous creatures, or forging unlikely bonds across the stars, each story will leave you questioning the limits of human potential. So, buckle up for a journey full of adventure, mystery, and, of course, humanity's unwavering spirit. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an out of this world story. The room is like a sterile void, its walls gleaming with an otherworldly sheen, reflecting the cold light from above. The air smells faintly of metal and antiseptic, as if no organic matter had ever dared touch this place. Matthew Rogers stands motionless in the center of the examination chamber, his bare skin brushing against the chill that seems to seep through the thin fabric of the medical gown they gave him. The gown itself is a strange material, light and flimsy, yet uncomfortably stiff. His feet feel like they are sinking into the cold metallic floor, each step echoing in a vast emptiness. Around him, the room is a blend of futuristic technology, slender devices floating silently, held by invisible forces, humming with a soft, continuous whir. Nearby, a smooth, cylindrical table sits in the center, surrounded by glowing panels that pulse with faint light, awaiting the alien instruments to begin their work. Above, the lights seem to flicker in strange rhythms, almost as if watching him, studying him. The walls are lined with shimmering monitors displaying incomprehensible alien symbols and charts, calculations that he can only guess at. A mysterious science beyond anything his human mind can comprehend. For 3 long weeks, he has endured the isolation of Navarre Station, subjected to decontamination protocols and an endless stream of mind-numbing orientations. And now, standing in the cold light of this chamber, he is about to begin the real reason he is here, an involuntary subject in an interspecies research program. His body will be tested, examined, and catalogued in ways that are as foreign to him as the station itself. The door slides open with a near silent hiss, and a figure enters, moving with graceful precision. Fan-Yuki steps into the chamber, her presence immediately filling the sterile space. She's smaller than Matthew expected, no taller than his chest, but there is something undeniably commanding about her. Her silver-blue fur shimmers as it catches the light, moving fluidly with each subtle motion. Her large, deep blue eyes shine like twin pools of molten sapphire, glowing softly with an unsettling intensity behind delicate wire-rimmed glasses. Her pointed ears twitch, rotating slightly to capture every sound in the room, while her bushy tail flicks gently, betraying a hint of curiosity or perhaps something more. She is not quite human, yet everything about her seems strangely familiar. She is like a fox, Matthew thinks, a creature of mystery and elegance, wrapped in a being that is both alien and eerily captivating. Fan's voice breaks the silence, soft yet firm, as she introduces herself in flawless standard English. Her tone is warm but measured, the kind of voice one would expect from a scientist, detached and professional. I am Dr. Fan-Yuki, lead xenobiologist of Navarre Station. Thank you for your participation in the Interspecies Exchange Initiative. Her eyes study him with an intensity that makes him feel as though she's not just looking at him, but through him, searching, cataloging. Her gaze is both clinical and deeply personal, as if she's fascinated not just by the scientific data his body can provide, but by the very mystery of him. The tests begin. Fen moves with the grace of a dancer, circling Matthew as she taps commands on her tablet, her silver-blue fur catching the light like a wave of mist. The scanner hums to life, its gentle glow bathing his chest, his shoulders, and his arms in a soft, almost intimate light. Fen's eyes flicker with quiet fascination as she studies the readings: his muscle density, the strength of his bones, the efficiency of his circulatory system. "You're unlike anything we expected," Fen murmurs, her voice carrying a trace of wonder. Her hand moves across the surface of his body with clinical precision, but there is something else there, a quiet reverence, a spark of something that might be admiration. She pauses in front of him, her eyes tracing the symmetry of his musculature, her breath catching for just a fraction of a second before she continues. The tension thickens in the air, like static before a storm. Matthew, despite his training, feels a heat creeping up his neck as Fen continues her measurements. Her presence is overwhelming. The air in the room feels heavier, charged with something beyond science, something personal. He can't help but notice the way her tail flicks when she moves behind him, how her ears swivel and twitch when she's near him, how her gaze lingers just a little too long on certain aspects of his body. She's professional, yes, but her eyes betray her. Her fascination with him is undeniable. The door slides open again, this time with an authority that chills the room. A taller, leaner figure enters: Director Thorne. His dark eyes, cold and calculating, scan the room with an air of detachment. Unlike Fen, who moves with curiosity and warmth, Thorne's presence is rigid, unyielding. He is a creature of command, his posture straight and uncompromising, his uniform impeccable. He strides into the center of the room with a kind of purposeful energy that makes Matthew feel smaller, more insignificant. "Dr. Yuki," Thorne's voice is sharp, his gaze quickly flicking between Fen and the data she has collected. "How is the subject progressing?" Fen steps back slightly, her ears twitching, her tail stiffening as Thorne's scrutiny sharpens on her work. The difference in their approaches is stark. Where Fen's focus is intense but compassionate, Thorne's is clinical to the point of cruelty. He studies Matthew with a detached interest of someone observing an experiment, not a person. His cold gaze makes it clear Matthew is not a participant in a diplomatic initiative. He is a specimen, an object to be analyzed, catalogued, and used for a purpose Matthew is still only beginning to understand. "This human," Thorne continues, his voice flat, "has remarkable capabilities. His participation will advance interspecies relations significantly." He speaks of Matthew as though he were nothing more than a collection of data, a tool to be exploited for the greater good. Matthew holds Thorne's gaze, but there's a flicker of resistance in his eyes. This is not why he joined the military. He didn't sign up to be a subject in a galactic science experiment. And yet, here he is, trapped in this cold, distant station, his body exposed and catalogued, his value reduced to its potential for military gain. Fen, sensing the tension, lowers her eyes, her tail twitching nervously. "Yes, Director," she says, her voice now colder, more distant, as she stands at attention. But Matthew sees it just for a moment, her eyes flicking to him, her tail betraying a flicker of sympathy. She may be a scientist, bound by the rules of her station, but beneath the surface, something else stirs. Something human. The days blur into weeks, each one marked by the cold hum of the Nevada station's sterile labs. But the sterile air of the examination chambers begins to feel different with every session. At first, the tests were clinical mathematical, cold, precise. But over time, Fen's touch grows less mechanical and more intentional. Fen no longer just conducts her tests, she lingers in her observations. Her eyes, once impassive, now trace Matthew's form with a kind of intensity that both unsettles and fascinates him. It's in the way she approaches him now, her movements fluid and almost graceful as she runs her fingers across his skin, scanning him, but never quite as distant as before. In one session, the soft hum of the scanner fades into the background as Fen stands closer than usual, her breath barely audible in the cold silence. She leans in, the warm scent of her fur mingling with the sterile atmosphere of the chamber. Her deep blue eyes never leave his as she runs a soft, precise scanner over his shoulder. Her tail flicks behind her, betraying the calm facade she's trying so desperately to maintain. "Your body," she says quietly, almost as if speaking to herself, "is incredible, Matthew. It adapts so quickly. More than we expected." Her voice wavers for just a moment. "Humans have such resilience." Matthew notices the slight hesitation in her words, the soft, unspoken curiosity that goes beyond the cold scientist she was when they first met. He realizes, with growing unease, that this is no longer about data alone. There is something more. Something unspoken. But the connection, as small as it may seem, does not escape her. Fen looks down at her tablet, tapping it with a bit more force than necessary, trying to hide the sudden flush that darkens the fur along her cheeks. She isn't used to feeling like this, unsure, conflicted. Days pass, and Matthew notices it more. There are moments where Fen lingers, her eyes softer than before, her voice, once always professional, now tinged with something else, something quieter, more personal. In private, she starts to ask him about Earth, about human culture, not for scientific research, but out of an almost genuine curiosity. She's asking about his life, about his thoughts, about what it means to be human, questions that she hadn't cared to ask before. The tension between them builds slowly, like the tension in a bowstring, stretched tight, waiting for release. As the weeks unfold, Matthew begins to notice the subtle shifts in the station's daily routines. At first, they seem innocuous, just minor adjustments in the tests and protocols. But then, he hears whispers, hushed conversations between the other alien researchers that echo through the hollow corridors, just out of earshot. One evening, when Fen is not in the lab, Matthew takes it upon himself to explore the station's secure data networks. His military training had prepared him for this, finding information where it was not meant to be found. Behind the faceless walls of Nevada Station, there are dark secrets buried deep. It doesn't take long for him to uncover them, encrypted files detailing the true purpose of his presence on Nevada Station. These tests were never meant to be about peaceful exchanges or scientific progress. They were about military applications, human regenerative capabilities, enhanced by the alien technology. His unique biology, his regenerative cells, were being studied for one reason: weaponization. The realization strikes him like a thunderclap. The seemingly innocent medical tests, the discussions about his strength and endurance, were all part of a larger plan. He's not just an object of curiosity, he is the key to creating an army of super soldiers for the Novarian military. His cells, his DNA, could be harvested to build weapons. Matthew feels his pulse quicken as the weight of this discovery crashes over him. He's been nothing more than a pawn in a vast, cold game of galactic politics. The thought is maddening, suffocating. And the one person he trusted, the one who had shown him kindness, Fenyuki, is part of this system. Or, at least, she had been. Or so he thought. That evening, Fan arrives earlier than usual, her fur slightly darker along her cheeks, a sure sign of the internal struggle she's been hiding. Matthew is already in the examination chamber, his mind still reeling from the information he discovered. Fen steps inside, her gaze lingering on him, but this time, something has changed. There's a certain hesitation in the way she moves. She's different now, softer, more conflicted. Matthew, she says, her voice barely above a whisper, I need to tell you something. She steps closer, her tail flicking nervously behind her. I didn't expect this to happen. Her eyes lock with his, and for the first time, he sees her vulnerability, something far removed from the cold, calculated scientist he had first met. What is it, Fen? Matthew asks, his heart pounding, a knot forming in his stomach. He knows what's coming. The air between them has thickened, charged with the weight of unspoken words. I've been studying you, Matthew, she continues, her voice low, trembling just slightly. And I've realized I can't keep doing this. I can't be a part of it anymore. She takes a deep breath, her blue eyes meeting his, full of both guilt and something else. The tests, they are not just about gathering data, Matthew. They want to harvest your genetic material. Your cells. Your tissues. For weaponization. For military purposes. Matthew's breath catches in his throat as the revelation crashes into him like a wave. So this whole time, he starts, but his voice falters. I didn't know, Fan whispers. At first, I thought it was just research. But as I got closer to you, I began to understand what they really wanted. What they want to do with you. A silence stretches between them, heavy and suffocating. Fen steps back, her tail drooping slightly, her ears flattened. I should have told you sooner. But I couldn't. I was afraid of what this would mean. Of what would happen if I did. She exhales slowly, the weight of her confession hanging in the air. But now you know. And I can't pretend anymore. Matthew stands frozen, his heart racing, a surge of emotions flooding his mind. He never expected this, the growing feelings between them, the connection he thought was just a side effect of their forced proximity. He doesn't know what to say. The betrayal stings, but at the same time, he can see the conflict in her eyes. So, what now? I'll help you, Fan says, her voice firm now. I'll help you escape. We'll stop them, together. Her confession, her true feelings echoes between them, as if the entire weight of the universe has come crashing down. Fan has chosen him. Not as a subject, but as something more. The tension inside the cold, metallic walls of Navarra Station grows with each passing moment. Every click of a console key, Every soft hiss of the door opening in the distant corridors sounds like a countdown. Fen and Matthew huddle in the dimly lit back room of a forgotten lab, the walls lined with maps of the station's infrastructure, scribbled with unauthorized notes and escape routes that Fen had memorized long ago. The air smells faintly of dust and old machinery, thick with the weight of their whispered plans. Fen's eyes scan the blueprints on her tablet, her fingers tracing the lines of escape tunnels hidden beneath the station's vast network. Her tail flicks with subtle anxiety, betraying the nerves she's desperately trying to control. Everything is in place, Fen whispers, her voice tight with resolve. The lower security systems are down. I've rerouted the guards' patrols. We have a small window to get to the shuttle bay undetected. Her words are deliberate, precise, but there's an underlying vulnerability in her tone. The trust between them has deepened. There's no turning back now. Matthew nods, the weight of their situation sinking in. We have one shot at this. The escape plan is simple, yet fraught with danger. They must navigate through hidden corridors, bypass the station's heightened security, and reach the escape pod, where Fen will take the lead in piloting them out. But with Thorne's security detail tightening their grip on the station, time is running out. The countdown begins. Fen leads the way, her every step calculated, echoing softly in the narrow, claustrophobic corridors. The station's high-tech security systems flicker in the distance, bright red beams that pass by like the eyes of unseen watchers. They move quickly, their movements synchronized as if rehearsed 1,000 times in their minds. Matthew's breath is steady but quick, the adrenaline racing through his veins. Every shadow that passes across their path feels like a threat. Every noise like the heavy footfalls of the security guards trailing behind. The escape pod is within reach, just a few more twists and turns through the labyrinthine hallways of Navarre Station. Suddenly, the sound of footsteps breaks through the silence. The sharp metallic clatter of armored boots against the station's floor echoes down the hall. Fen's tail stiffens, her ears twitching to alert her. Without hesitation, she pulls Matthew into a nearby alcove, her silver-blue fur blending against the shadows. Wait, she breathes, her voice low and steady. The guards pass, oblivious to their presence. The sound of the footsteps fades, but Matthew can feel the tension in Fen's body, her senses alive, alert. When the last footstep echoes away, she exhales slowly, barely a sound. Now, Fen murmurs, and they move again, faster this time, the escape pod just ahead. They reach the pod, its sleek metallic surface gleaming under the dim station lights. Fen works the controls with practiced precision, her eyes flashing with a fierce determination. As the hatch slides open with a soft hiss, they climb inside, the cold emptiness of space waiting just beyond the protective shields. The shuttle's engines roar to life with a hum, the vibrations felt deep in their bones. Fen takes the pilot's seat, her focus sharp, hands steady as she manipulates the controls. Outside the viewport, the dark expanse of space stretches endlessly, the distant stars little more than pinpricks of light in a vast unknown. The station behind them is a looming presence, its cold metallic silhouette growing smaller with each passing second. But as they break free from the gravitational pull of Navarre Station, Fen's concentration falters for a moment. The weight of their escape, the danger, the uncertainty of what lies ahead, seems to settle in her chest. She glances over at Matthew, her deep blue eyes locking with his for a fleeting moment. Matthew's gaze softens, understanding the depth of the risk they've taken. There's no going back now. I've never felt like this before, Fen admits, her voice quiet. I've always kept my distance from my subjects. But you. She pauses, her throat tight with emotion. You're different. You've always been different. The words hang between them, unspoken and powerful. The truth of their connection, the bond they've forged through shared danger and mutual respect, is undeniable. Fen leans in, her breath catching in her throat as the distance between them evaporates. Their lips meet in a kiss, a tender, urgent moment that signals the end of professional boundaries and the beginning of something new. Their relationship has evolved into something far beyond research and data. The shuttle soars through the inky blackness of space, the sound of its engines muted against the vast silence. Fen and Matthew head toward a secret research station, a safe haven in the remote Cotharis system. As they approach the hidden outpost, a sense of relief begins to settle in. The data they carry, the evidence of Thorne's illegal operations, is their ticket to exposing the truth. They land in the quiet embrace of the research station, its lights a soft glow in the darkness. As Fen and Matthew present the data to the scientists there, the truth about Thorne's military experiments is revealed to the Galactic Council. The once promising initiative has been exposed as a shaman operation meant to turn human biology into a weapon. The Council, horrified by the revelations, acts swiftly, bringing an end to Thorne's illegal operations and stripping him of his position. Fen is offered a new role, one that aligns with her ethics, leading a new, more ethical scientific initiative. As she stands before the council, her eyes meet Matthew's, and in that moment, everything feels right. Matthew, too, is recognized for his role in uncovering the truth. The council offers him a position as a liaison between humans and aliens, a bridge between the two species that would foster understanding, cooperation, and peace. The final scene unfolds with Fen and Matthew standing side by side, gazing out at the stars from the observation deck of the research station. The endless cosmos stretches before them, a world of possibilities waiting to be explored. Their journey has only just begun, and despite the challenges ahead, they stand united, stronger than ever, both professionally and personally. You know, Matthew says, breaking the silence, I never imagined my first mission would end like this. Being stuck in the middle of a galactic conspiracy, and ending up with you. Fen smiles, her tail swishing gently behind her. Neither did I, she says softly. But I can't imagine a better outcome. They stand together in the quiet of space, the promise of the future shimmering just beyond the horizon. Whatever comes next, they know they will face it as partners united in purpose, and in something more. And as the stars continue to flicker in the distance, so too does the possibility of a future full of endless discovery, shared knowledge, and the unspoken bond between them. Did this story leave you on the edge of your seat? Or maybe you have a theory about what happens next? Drop your thoughts and comments below, we want to hear from you. At HFY Galactic Audiobooks. Your voice matters just as much as humanity's will to survive in the stars. And if you loved what you heard, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. We've got plenty more intergalactic adventures coming your way, and we wouldn't want you to miss a single one. Stay curious. Stay human.